Hi, are you planning to set up your urban jungle? I'm still setting up mine, but I would like to share with you some of the decisions I've made and the challenges that I've had to overcome. This is my third urban jungle. The first one I had was in London. I had a patio where I focused on growing vegetables. And then when I moved back to New York, I acquired many succulents. And now, having lived in Seattle for 3 years, and the first 2 years I had under 10 plants, and now I have ramped up to over 170 houseplants. I share a 700 square foot apartment with my partner Dan and our dog Volka. We have a west-facing window, only one, but massive, and I have a tiny balcony that I'm super grateful for. So let's go take a look inside. Where am I? Oh. Or my apartment. One of the biggest problems that I had to address was space. As I said earlier, this is a small apartment and I want a lot of plants. So there was only one option, and that was to grow upwards. I looked at many shelves, many of which are about 15 inches in height. I don't know the last time you've checked the height of your plants, but they come in varying sizes and heights. For example, does this look like 15 inches to you? This baby has gotten a lot taller. So your typical shelf is not going to work. Not for me anyway. One of my priorities was getting a shelf that was adjustable. So I can have 12-inch shelf, 15-inch shelf, so on and so forth. So that was number one. And number two, I really wanted the shelves not to feel like bookcases. Wanted them to be light and airy so that light can travel through the shelves, especially when I put it in front of the window, and also when I have these grow lights. So that led me to go with the Ikea shelves. And they're very practical, adjustable, and economical. My only biggest complaint is the fact that plants do tend to lose its balance if you don't place them properly. And yeah, so it gets dirt all over the place when that happens. So you can buy plastic covers at Ikea to line your shelves if you don't want that. They're a little bit slippery, but otherwise they've been great. My second concern was the amount of light that comes through the window. We only have one west-facing window, which is behind me. The light can be quite intense, a little bit too intense for some of the tropical plants that we try to grow in our homes. So I needed to come up with an artificial lighting solution, especially because in Seattle, the winters are quite long and gray, and I just cannot imagine being able to keep my plants happy over the winter without them severely suffering. I was talking to my friend Erin, and she had purchased some shop lights. You can just use regular light bulbs as grow lights as long as the Kelvin is 5500 and above. So she's been using her shop lights for a while, and she says that her calatheas are super happy with them. And I was like, oh, cool. So she sent me a link. I didn't exactly get the same ones as her, but we can link it below. I would say that a lot of my bright indirect light plants are loving these shop lights. I also bought some pink LED lights for my succulents because I'm planning to have to move them in the winter time. So hopefully the succulents will be happy with those. But so far I have my other tropical plants under these pink lights and they seem happy with them. So I'm a little bit worried they're not strong enough for the succulents. So we will see when they finally have to move inside from the balcony. The third concern that I had to address was the humidity level. In the summer right now, keeping the humidity level with 2 humidifiers running is pretty good. None of the plants seem to have been complaining. My first kind of like entry-level humidifier that I got was the Honeywell. I can't say that I feel like it does loads. The water seems to evaporate at a quite slow rate. I'm sure it's doing something. More recently, I stepped up to the Levoit. You can visibly see the mist, and I have to refill it every other day. It also has a reader, so you can monitor and set the humidity level that you desire. I love it. I think it's great. 6 liters is a bit small for what I need it for. Especially in the winter, it's not going to be able to handle it. The plan is to buy an industrial grade humidifier so that there will only be moist, warm air circulating our urban jungle. The next thing I want to talk about is watering. Having 170 plants just takes a long time to water, and I just wanted a faster way to be able to water them fairly quickly. I did a little bit of research, and it seems like a lot of people like Homestead Brooklyn or even some of the local plant shops here in Seattle use trays, and I'm pretty sure they just water the trays and the plants are just soaking up the water from it. So I kind of went about it the same way, and I ended up buying the Ikea shoe racks or shoe trays. They don't exactly fit the entire length of the shelves, but it's good enough, and I'm willing to just go with it. I also lined the shelves with some newspaper before I put the plants down, because I also read that it helps increase the humidity, and humidity is good for all my tropical plants. I've only had this set up for about 2 weeks now. I'm loving it. I'm able to just come over with my canister or my watering can and water the few plants that look like they need water, and the other ones can just kind of hang out and it's fine. Or when I do my weekly watering, last week I just poured a bunch of water into the tray and I let it sit for a few hours. This was a little bit time consuming. I'm not sure I'm gonna do it again, but I used like sort of like a turkey baster kind of thing and just kind of pumped all the water back out. So this week I think I'm just going to water the individual plants with the watering can and see how that goes. But so far so good. The only downside is I'm trying to fit like so many plants onto one tray. There's not much space between them. But otherwise, I don't have to do the weekly plant migration to the kitchen sink. So awesome. So overall, I feel pretty happy with all the choices that I've made so far. It's a work in progress. It's not perfect, but with the organization that the shelves have been able to give me, it's worked out really well. And the artificial lighting, the plants are absolutely loving it. I've noticed significant changes in their growth, so they're happy. And so that makes me happy. And the humidity has been great. So overall, I'm really happy with all the decisions that I've made. While this is a far cry from my dream of living in a biosphere, I've been pretty happy with the result. I hope this video has inspired you to build your own urban jungle, no matter what it looks like. If you have any questions or suggestions, please leave them in the comment below. Subscribe to stay in touch, and thank you for watching.